There's a Japanese word I came across recently. Waku Waku. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. It describes a feeling of excitement, anticipation, a kind of childlike joy that bubbles quietly inside you when you are looking forward to something. And the first time I heard it, I paused because I realized something. A lot of us haven't felt that way in a very long time. Not fully, not genuinely. Somewhere between growing up, surviving, healing, paying bills, being productive, and trying to keep our lives together, many of us have lost our sense of excitement. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic movie moment kind, but the soft excitement, the kind that makes ordinary life feel alive, the kind you used to feel as a child when things felt magical, just like Christmas, or your birthday, when in the Nigerian setting we would share Coke and Fanta and then we would have cabin biscuit, when a rainy day felt cozy instead of inconvenient, when your favorite snack could completely change your mood. Something as simple as digestive biscuit, fiber active, or speedy could actually completely change your mood. When you could spend hours imagining things, creating things, looking forward to tiny moments that seem insignificant to everyone else. Back then, life felt slower. It was more colorful. It was more alive. And maybe it wasn't because life was easier. Maybe it was because we were more present. Children experience life differently anyway. They notice things. They become fascinated by ordinary moments. They allow themselves to feel excitement without immediately questioning whether it's important enough. And somewhere along the way, many adults lose that. Not intentionally, but gradually. You become consumed by responsibilities, survival, routine, and eventually your life becomes centered around productivity. Everything you do has to serve a purpose. Everything has to lead somewhere. Everything has to be useful. And if it doesn't feel that way, you begin to see it as unnecessary. Even joy. Most especially joy. You stop allowing yourself to enjoy things freely. You start feeling guilty for resting, guilty for slowing down, guilty for doing things simply because they make you happy. And over time, life begins to feel functional instead of meaningful. You wake up, you do what needs to be done. You move through your routines, and even if things are technically fine, something feels missing. That feeling of aliveness. That feeling of looking forward to things. The quiet excitement about existing. And I think that's why so many people feel emotionally disconnected from themselves these days. Because we've stopped engaging with life in a way that allows joy to enter naturally. I'm not talking about the big joys, no, not life-changing moments, but the small joys of everyday life and living. The kind that quietly reminds you that you're alive. I think a lot about how children can become excited over the smallest things. A butterfly, a favorite cartoon, the smell of food from the kitchen, a trip to the store, a new notebook, or just the wind blowing the curtain. Somehow that makes my little boy excited. And adults often laugh at that innocence. But honestly, I think there's wisdom in it. Because somewhere deep down, I think we all miss the version of ourselves that knew how to be excited about life without needing a major reason. The version of ourselves that wasn't constantly overthinking, constantly rushing, constantly trying to optimize every moment. And maybe growing up was never supposed to mean losing that part of yourself. Maybe it was supposed to mean something like protecting it. Because life becomes very heavy when there is nothing in it that genuinely excites you anymore. And I don't mean excitement in the sense of constant happiness. I mean emotional engagement, feeling connected to your own experience, being able to look forward to things again. allowing yourself to enjoy your life while you are living it. Not just when everything is perfect, but even during the imperfect moment. And I know that can feel difficult when life has been hard, especially when you've been stressed for a long time, when your mind has been occupied with survival, healing, or simply trying to keep going. In those seasons, joy can feel distant, even unfamiliar. But I don't think joy disappears completely. I think that sometimes it just gets buried underneath exhaustion and underneath pressure. It gets buried underneath the version of adulthood that teaches people that seriousness equals maturity. But being serious all the time does not make life meaningful, and constantly denying yourself joy does not make you stronger. It just makes you feel smaller. So maybe part of healing, part of reconnecting with yourself, is learning how to feel Waku Waku again. Learning how to let life feel soft and interesting again. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're allowing yourself to participate in your own life emotionally. And sometimes that begins in very small ways. Could be something as simple as buying yourself flowers, watching the sunset intentionally instead of absent-mindedly, rewatching your favorite movies, listening to music and actually letting yourself enjoy it with no distraction, trying a new cafe, trying a new meal, rewatching something that once comforted you, playing dress-ups, or even dressing up nicely when nobody's coming to see you or when you're not going anywhere. Romanticizing tiny moments instead of rushing through them. And I know some people dismiss these things. They call them silly or unnecessary. But I think those tiny moments, they matter more than most people realize. Because your life is made up of ordinary days, not just milestone moments. And if you never allow yourself to enjoy ordinary days, you will spend most of your life waiting to feel alive. That's the important part that most people forget. Joy is not only found in huge accomplishments. Sometimes it exists in the smallest experiences. A good cup of coffee, the smell of rain, clean bed sheets, laughing at something ridiculous, walking outside after being indoors for too long. Tiny things. But tiny things have the power to reconnect you to yourself. And maybe that's what many people are actually looking for. Not a completely different life. Just the feeling. A feeling of being emotionally present again, of being able to experience life instead of simply enduring it. And honestly, social media has made this harder. Because now people think joy has to look elaborate, it has to look impressive, it has to look aesthetic. Like your life has to constantly appear exciting, luxurious, productive, or aesthetically perfect to be meaningful. But some of the happiest moments in life are deeply ordinary. They're quiet, unposted, unimpressive to everyone else. And that's okay. Because joy becomes more genuine when it is not performative. When it is truly for you. I also think many people are waiting for permission to enjoy themselves again. Permission to slow down, permission to be playful, permission to feel excited without feeling childish or unserious. So let this be your permission. You're allowed to enjoy your life. You're allowed to create moments that make being alive feel softer. You're allowed to reconnect to the parts of you that still feel wonder. Because those parts, they matter. They make your life richer, warmer, more human. And maybe healing is not only about fixing what hurts. Maybe healing is also about rediscovering what delights you. The things that light you up. What makes you feel emotionally awake again. That version of you still exists somewhere within you. The version that knew how to become excited about small things. The version that could feel fully present in tiny moments. The version that allowed life to feel magical without needing a major reason. And maybe adulthood is not about abandoning that version of yourself. Maybe it's about finding your way back to them. Slowly, gently, intentionally, learning how to feel Waku Waku again. Not all of the time, of course. Not perfectly. But enough to remind yourself that life is not only something to survive. It is also something to experience. Something to notice. Something to feel. And perhaps the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself is to become emotionally present enough to enjoy being alive again. Thank you for tuning in to listen today, and I'll see you in my next one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this with someone. Have a wonderful rest of the day.